Folks, here's what you've been missing while you've been cooped up all day during this ice storm that we're covering, I should mention, in full force here at Television Park. All staff here in the building right now and out and about in the CSRA covering the effects and covering the damage. No damage in this picture, though, as we have the Apple TV up and running here in our studios. This is at Episcopal Day School / the Church of the Good Shepherd there on Walton Way. Continuing down Walton Way, this is just across from the entrance to GRU. That's looking down Fleming Street. You see the broken tree there. And broken trees, really the theme of the day right now. Limbs everywhere. I'm sure if you've poked your head outside, heard the snapping. Sounds like a gun going off, doesn't it? Well, it's not. It's the sound of that wood snapping, and it's a sound we haven't heard in these parts in about 10 years. And it's causing power outages as well. More than 20,000 people in Richmond County alone in the dark right now. Check on your friends. Check on your neighbors. Check on those who are elderly, who need assistance. 7,000 people without power in Columbia County right now. All told in the Peach State, 126,000 people don't have electricity right now. I will say this as a shout out to our Georgia power crews. They've restored electricity for 66,000 people. So almost as soon as it goes out, it comes back on. Burke County, we're thinking about you, where 5,000 people are without power right now on this chilly Wednesday afternoon. They're changing the sign at Georgia Regents University. You know, they promised to put the Augusta there. Well, that's a shot I took on my way into work today. The sign is there, and they're going to put the A back in it as we try to crank it back up here, and I'll show you some more pictures going down Walton Way as I came into work. You know, everywhere you look, it's so beautiful, but we can't say it enough that you need to stay inside and stay out of those danger zones. I took this through the sunroof of the car. Isn't that pretty? But you know what? Later today, that limb is probably going to come crashing down there on Montesano Avenue. And this is a man who I could not go on television without giving a huge shout out to. His name is Aeneas Friendly. Aeneas is obviously a carrier for the U.S. Postal Service. They have that saying, neither rain nor snow nor dead of night. Damon, what is the exact saying? Damon Putzier, our executive producer, is a wealth of trivia knowledge. He's a treasure trove when it comes to knowing things. And basically, the gist of it is that these men and women do not ever clock out. And so he was delivering the mail there today. And so on and so on. Look at the frozen tundra. Where do you think that might be? Take a second. Guess amongst yourselves as you gather around the fire. That's no frozen tundra. That's Daniel Field. It is wide open. There's the ice accumulating on the chain link fence. And there are a lot more pictures where those came from. And throughout the rest of this afternoon, and certainly through our newscast, we're going to be sharing those pictures. We also encourage you to send in your photographs so that we can show your part of the world. South Augusta, I know you've been hit hard today. Milledgeville Road has had some trees, as has Old Barton Chapel Road. All of the schools, as you'll notice at the bottom of your television screen throughout the afternoon in Georgia and South Carolina, are closed. So you got the day off on Wednesday. You're going to get the day off on Thursday. If you have any closings that you're still wondering about, check that ticker at the bottom of the television screen. Also go to our Facebook page and go to our website, WJBF.com, and you'll find those there. We're just grateful to be here at Television Park. News Channel 6's Jenny Montgomery is standing by right now. She had an uphill battle trying to get here today because the roads are so bad, Jen.
That uphill, and Brad, you'll have to call up my Facebook page and I can talk through my little sequence of pictures, my timeline of trying to get to work today. We'll have that for you a little bit later on. Goodness, stay inside if you can. That's all I can say. What a mess out there. But sometimes that mess is beautiful, as you'll see when Chris Kane visited the Augusta National.
Take a good look behind me because this is something that you rarely see. Magnolia Lane completely iced over. The famous sign off Washington Road that greets members looks more like a sign that you'd see at the North Pole. And the security guardhouse, today, nobody's even in there working. But truly, the magnificent sight here, Magnolia Lane. 61 large magnolia trees dripping with icicles. And it's hard to believe that 2 months from today, the third round of the Masters will tee off. But today, Augusta National Golf Club is unplayable, covered in a sheet of ice. Reporting from Augusta National, I'm Chris Kane, WJBF News Channel 6.
Chris, thank you so much. You know, it was funny listening to Jim Cantori this morning, who all of you know was in Augusta, ground zero, shall we say, for the ice apocalypse. He was talking about Augusta and how everybody loves Augusta in the spring, and we're used to seeing Augusta pictures in the spring, and assured everybody that by Masters Week, you know, we're all going to be fine. But it certainly doesn't look like it has ever looked for all those Masters visitors who come to the Garden City every April. We want to check in with Brad for just a moment. Brad, have you gotten that little timeline?
You know, it's funny, this
Facebook
show? Page is so temperamental here. The connection between my iPhone and the Apple TV here behind this plasma monitor sometimes is a little bit shaky if I step too far away from it. So I'm going to get some courage up in a minute, Jenny, and go to your Facebook page so we can navigate through that timeline. It's well worth waiting for, too, Jenny, because you did a great job of chronicling what happened from the moment you left your house with all your gear until the moment you were in the clear to get on the roads here to Television Park, and then ultimately your safe arrival. This is Sam Means. Sam is my 12-year-old boy. This is his friend Ben Prather. Ben, also 12. They made some snow cones out in our yard. I'm not sure I would eat stuff that had been in the yard on account of our dog Millie, I'm just saying. But they did make real, honest-to-goodness snow cones and put some sort of grape syrup on the top of them. So Ben and Sam, I hope you're enjoying those. There's a tight shot of it here coming up in just a moment. All sorts of ways to try to make the best of this ice storm. You know, I told my children that there was no upside to an ice storm, that it was scary, that it was dangerous, that it was bad to be outside, but leave it to children to try to find the silver lining. Jenny, I'll go to Facebook right now. Keep your fingers crossed.
All right, Brad. Thank you very much. And that is funny. You got to watch that snow, don't you? But how creative of them to make the snow cones from the sleet. We do have a lot of icy streets out there, and that is why we want you to stay off them. Take a look at what we mean.
Ice, slush, and snow. It is not the best way to go on the streets of Augusta.
A lot of ice on the roads right now. We're very concerned that people are still traveling. We did an emergency call out to the citizens who've signed up with our public notification to please stay off the roads today. The conditions are very dangerous. Travel is very dangerous.
Driving is dangerous, but there are vehicles on the streets. Though there are some streets drivers are not going on. The ice storm shutting down the Calhoun Expressway, with traffic officials saying you'll need to be finding another route for a while getting in and out of downtown Augusta.
Calhoun, we're expecting it to be closed pretty much for the duration. I think DOT wants to concentrate their efforts on keeping Riverwatch open and making that the route to downtown.
Also shut down Berkman's Road from Washington Road to Ingleside Drive. It's hilly, and in this weather, city officials say it's not worth the effort to try and keep it open.
It's hilly, and the amount of resources it would take to keep it open. You know, if we got to spend an inordinate amount of resources trying to keep something open, it's not worth opening. We'd just close it, and then we can concentrate on keeping most of it open, most of the other roads clear.
It's not clear sailing on Augusta streets, and the best bet is if you don't have to be out there, don't. Not just for yourself, but for others. There are those who need to be out in this type of weather.
It's absolutely a concern. We want people to stay out of the way of the emergency officials that are trying to get things cleared up. They are out there to do their job, and we need them to be able to get to their jobs.
All right, thank you so much for that report. You see what we're talking about with those icy streets. We want to go now to our chief meteorologist, George Myers. George is standing by with the latest on the transitioning now of the storm. And George, am I right about that? We're in a different phase now.
Yeah, well, we're seeing the storm dying down in intensity compared to what it was earlier this morning. We had sleet coming down like we've never seen it before early this morning, but there's still patches of light freezing rain and sleet where you see the colors in pink across Edgefield, Saluda, into the Midlands of South Carolina. Right now, just plain rain in Barnwell, Allendale, and Bamberg counties. That wintry mix south towards Millen and Sylvania. All this is sliding eastward. And there's that break we have right now. Some of our East Georgia counties in Columbia County, Western Richmond, McDuffie, Warren, Washington, and Johnson counties. Still a little bit of a mix up there in Washington, Wilkes, Lincoln area. As we pull out, actually we'll zoom in first to the metro area. And there's that light freezing rain, a little bit of rain mixed in with this. That's good news to see the rain coming up. Love to see the rain. see things warm up around here. As you pull out just a bit, still some more to come our way as far as that wintry mix. You'll see it across western and northwestern Georgia, sliding off the east and northeast. So we're not done with this yet. And plus tonight, looking for temperatures to dip well below freezing, 28, 29 degrees. Any slush on the highways obviously will freeze and cause some problems for tomorrow morning. John Lynn has more on the timeline of the storm as it remains right now. John?
Thanks, George. We still have the very good possibility for more freezing rain and also more sleet. Let's take you through the hour. By 4 o'clock this afternoon, that will continue to move through the metro area. Then as we head towards around 7 o'clock this evening, look forward to nothing more than just a cold rainfall around Burke County, Jenkins County, Emmanuel, even Screven, Barnwell, and Allendale, and that is certainly good news. But as you take a look at northern Jefferson County, Richmond County, northern Aiken County, and all those counties north, once again we'll continue to see the chance for freezing rain and also sleet. As we head towards later on this evening, by midnight tonight, looks like rain for counties south of Burke and Barnwell, and then that chance for freezing rain and sleet continues around Columbia, Edgefield, Richmond, and Aiken County. And then as we head towards early tomorrow morning by 7 a.m., a little bit of some light sleet and some light freezing mist, then a little bit of snow around Wilkes, McDuffie, even Glasscock, the city of Sandersville, and in Jefferson County. We'll continue to see that little bit of light snowfall. Then as we head towards noon, look for just a light dusting, and then we finally start to clear out and dry out as we head towards Thursday night. Then Friday, we'll get you back to plenty of sunshine. We'll have much more on the situation coming up in just a bit. Brad, over to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. 18,000 people in Burke, Columbia, and Richmond counties alone right now without power. Georgia Power crews out and about. Aiken County, our South Carolina viewers, we know that many of you are without electricity as well. If you have it, if you can see us right now, check on your friends and neighbors. The lack of power, or the threat thereof, is one of the reasons that a lot of the staff here at WJBF News Channel 6 are making their way to Television Park with plans to remain here, because we're uncertain what we might go home to. We're also uncertain what the next few hours bring as far as power outages. Now, Jenny, Marlene, I know that technically speaking, it'd be difficult to get Jenny and I on television together right now, but turn on her microphone, and what we're going to do, Jenny, is I want you to walk me through a timeline that represents the better part of the last 2 hours of your life. And as you explained this first picture, I'm going to leave it up, then I'm going to advance to the next picture. You'll see me advancing here on the plasma, folks. Forgive that. It is just what we have to go through to get to the next picture here because of the connection on the Apple TV. So, Jenny, things look pretty peaceful at this point.
Brad, forgive you. Are you kidding? It's so cool what you're doing. We love this.
Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I was just being so cute. You know, I have my pillow and my blanket and my clothes for tomorrow. And I just have that picture about, oh, you know, another day at News Channel 6. If I can get out of the neighborhood. Now, didn't I think that was cute? Little did I know, trying to get out of my neighborhood, we would be unable to get up the hill that leads to the main road.
Let me ask you this. What's this man doing with a rake?
That is Scott Elledge, and he and Sky Elledge are trying to make a path for the car to go through. Now, Sky, my daughter, had to go back to the house to get said shovel and rake.
You were just trying to clear tracks for the car?
Because my front wheel drive that we thought would be enough wasn't enough for the hill. So then we took another picture of Scott, and he was being very funny, saying, where there is no road, we make a road.
You know what, though?
Anything it takes to get to News Channel 6.
But this gives a great perspective, this shot does, and kudos to you for taking it, of that hill you mentioned. You can see the incline, folks, from where Scott is furiously shoveling to the stop sign. And if you've been out on the roads, and I hope you haven't, then you've lived what Jenny and her family went through just to get to work today. Okay, so he continues to clear the path.
Right, and also you're having to dodge all the fallen limbs. We have pine trees. We had limbs all over the place, limbs and branches. And I thought he should try to drive over them because they would give him traction. He said no, but look who came to the rescue. That is Dr. Philip Kennedy from the Center for Primary Care. Philip and his wonderful daughter Reagan passed us and said, hey, can we help? Can we get you to work? Because you know what? He understands the importance of getting to News Channel 6, getting here so that we can report on this storm and keep you safe. So Philip and Reagan got us here, and it took 2 hours, but we did get to work, and we want you to stay home at safe and watch, and we'll show you what's going on. And that's exactly why we have reporters here, and one standing by right now, Brad.
Yeah, Julie Parisi's been up and about all day. As soon as those ice pellets started falling from the sky, her alarm clock went off. She's live outside Television Park right now. Julie?
Hey Brad, hey Jenny. You know, Part of me really wants to complain about standing outside here in the cold this morning, but then I think about all those workers that were outside the old Regency Mall earlier this morning prepping for this storm. There were close to about 1,000 crews. Some came from as far away as Michigan, some came from Louisiana and South Carolina to help us out here, get everyone back in the light and out of the darkness. I got an inside look at just how they prepared to finalize their plans and send the crews out on the road. Take a look.
We're getting our trucks and out we go.
All hands on deck.
We got all our crews here at the show up where we can get them fed and get them prepared to go out today.
Crews came in from all different parts of the country on Wednesday, ready to aid Georgia Power in the heart of this storm.
Finish up doing is assigning them to the different coordinators that will coordinate the work for them throughout the day. So we're getting ready to move them to the different locations around our east region here so they'll be prepared to get lights back on.
Crews are staged behind me here at Regency Mall. They'll hang out there until they get their marching orders. Once they do, it's out on the roads to restore everyone to power and restore everyone to safety.
And we want to get everybody spread it out before the roads get too bad that we can't travel. So we're trying to get everybody strategically placed so they're ready to go when lights start to go out.
Weather like this isn't something the South sees often, but those in charge say they're fully prepared.
Everybody knows their role. Everybody has a role in this region. So we're prepared for storms, whether it be from putting up down power line to being a support for logistic personnel.
There are some things you need to remember if the power does go out.
Turn off your stoves, turn off your heaters, because you don't want those items coming back on when the power does come on and you may not be home. So that's one tip that we ask people to do.
Another warning is to stay away from down power lines whenever you're out and about, although you really shouldn't be out and about. You should be at home on your couch because it ain't good to be outside today. With that, I'll send it back to you guys. Brad and Jenny.
Julie, where was your last job before you came to Channel 6? Weren't you in like a cold space, say, along the northeastern corridor of this great land?
Yes, I hail from New York City. This is nothing. This is nothing to me. Now,
you know what, though? I know y'all got a lot of snow in the Big Apple, but really when it comes to ice storms and your experience with that, how does it compare with what we're seeing here today? Because even this latest system is promising to dump a lot of snow on our friends in New York, but not ice. How much ice did you get during your time there?
I gotta say, I'm not really so familiar with the ice storms. All I was thinking about this morning was I lived through Sandy last year. I was without power for about 7 days. And this is kind of reminding me of all the preparations. And I gotta say, I didn't take those warnings either before that storm came, and how sorry I was for that. So today I took it a little more carefully.
Well, that's good information to be sure, and heed those words of warning. She's proof positive, Julie Parisi is, that you should err on the side of caution. And that's coming from somebody who's experienced storms a lot larger than these. Storms, though, that have already knocked out power for 21,000 plus people in Richmond County, 5,600 plus in Columbia, 672 of our McDuffie County friends, and so on and so on. South Carolina, Allendale, Barnwell, Edgefield, all of you all feeling the power outages as we speak. Jenny.
You know, I don't know what's happening in my neighborhood now. We lost power a couple of times this morning, but just very briefly. And when it flickers and you know, oh, that's going to be it. So I really feel for the people who are without power. And we have seen pictures of the staging area, all the trucks, all the crews who are here to help out, because this is such a crippling storm in our area. And Brad, you know, I was thinking about one thing when you were talking to Julie. You know the big difference between the storms up north and here?
What's that?
Chains.
Yeah.
Chains.
We need more. We
don't have any traction like chains on our tires when we have this. So the other thing to remember is that Augusta is just part of this big, big storm system. This is happening across the southeast. Let's take a look at that right now.
It's an icy, slushy mess from Dallas to Atlanta and north to Charlotte, a region not used to such a serious wintry blast, feeling under siege.
Like snowing ice balls. It's not really the soft snow that I'm used to.
Forecasters have warned of the worst ice storm for the South in a decade. They're using words like historic, catastrophic, and crippling, with the worst yet to come.
So hopefully you are sheltering in place and prepared for a long stay.
For Atlanta, it's a tale of two storms. After that nightmare scenario 2 weeks ago, today the city is largely deserted. National Guard troops are at the ready. Overnight, hundreds of utility vehicles prepared to triage down trees and power lines.
If there's down power lines, act like it's energized. move away from it.
Across the region, the roads have been dangerous and deadly. In North Carolina, the snow and ice sent some drivers spinning. At least 4 people have been killed in icy accidents in Texas, 2 more in Mississippi. First responders across the South working around the clock.
What's it like to be a patrol officer in these kind of elements? What is your job harder?
Yeah, I could say it's a little harder, slipping, sliding on the gravel, but we have the snow chains.
And it's another devastating week for airlines and passengers. At the nation's busiest airport in Atlanta, more than 1,500 flights have been canceled, with more than 2,500 scrapped nationwide. As the storm pushes north, it'll keep flyers grounded, dumping snow, ice, and freezing rain all the way up the Northeast.
Here in Georgia, those much-feared power outages are beginning to mount. More than 100,000 residents are now in the dark in this state alone. Devin Dwyer, ABC News, Atlanta.
Right now that Governor Nikki Haley in South Carolina has asked the federal government to declare South Carolina a federal disaster area, and that is a preemptive measure that would allow the state to get help from FEMA, and it would cover 75% of the cost. She could get in food and generators to help in this storm recovery. Brad?
You all a video. This is a drive down Walton Way about 90 minutes ago, and pay attention to the actual road there on Walton Way. This is a way of giving props, if you will, to our Augusta maintenance crews who have been out since way before dawn spreading sand and salt to make sure that the emergency crews and the crews that are here to take care of our trees can travel. And so this is about 14 seconds worth. Not a difficult drive whatsoever. You see the ruts where other cars and trucks have traveled, but it was absolutely fine. If you go down the other way, though, this is headed toward Television Park, so west on Walton Way. If you turn around and tried to go east, you would notice some barriers up there just past Millage Road. When the hill starts to go down by the Partridge Inn, all that is shut down and has been shut down. So Walton Way, as Mayor Copenhaver said on the Weather Channel to Jim Cantori this morning, is one of our primary arteries, and it's running fine, say from First Baptist down to Millage. But once you get past that and try to go downtown, it's pretty rough going indeed. Let me show you an attachment that our colleague Scott Elledge just sent to me. No earthly idea what it's going to show, but I trust him, so I'm going to show it. Here it comes right now.
It is.
Check this. All right, Jenny, describe this.
Okay, what we're looking at now, this is the Target shopping center on
Robert C.
What am I
Daniel?
trying to say? Robert C. Daniel. That is another staging area. Those are all the cherry picker trucks. And coming up Pleasant Home Road, those trucks were in action where trees had fallen. They were cutting them. But that is another staging area over there at Augusta Exchange and Target. It must be 20 or so cherry picker trucks for exactly what you're talking about, Brad. The tree, the tree removal, cutting those limbs that fall and everything.
It's incredible and it's impressive. A similar scene being played out on what used to be Regency Mall, as we've talked about all day here. That's where all the electrical crews are gathered. Columbia County, we know that you've seen your fair share. Columbia County is, despite its growth, still largely rural in many parts of it. And those parts that have been developed, we hope, have been respectful of the forests that were there back in the day. What I'm getting at is you have a ton of trees, and whenever this kind of weather hits Columbia County, Georgia, you have a ton of limbs snapping and falling to the ground. First-hand information on that from News Channel 6's Dion Guillory.
Ice Storm 2014 is turning the deep south into a deep freeze. Ice just about everywhere you look in Columbia County, from trees and grass to stoplights and the crosswalk button. The ice could also be seen on road signs, people still entering.
The roads are slushy and the conditions are getting worse, but despite that, people are still on the roads going about their day.
I know last night was going to be a rush, so I said I'm going to wait to the day so that way I can get in and get out, you know.
Last minute groceries, I got some at the house, but I was going to cook French toast for the kids and happened to get my wife a little teddy bear for Valentine's Day while I was here.
A nice little extra treat.
Yes, sir.
The ice on the roads, no treat for drivers, but our last-minute shoppers ready to get home where it's warm.
Gonna cook breakfast this morning and snuggle up, and I got a generator at the house for backup just in case.
I already have food at the house. I just get some last-minute stuff and just sit there and stay warm.
You are.
Stay off the road.
Absolutely.
Dion Guillory reporting for us today. Our weather coverage continues here as well. A reminder that you're watching News Channel 6's continuing coverage of the ice storm just before the 2:30 hour here on a Wednesday afternoon at Television Park. Our chief meteorologist, George Myers, our meteorologist, John Lynn, and their full team have been on this the whole time. George, what's coming?
Hey, Brad, thanks a lot. Here's a look now at our current WJBF Live Viper 6 radar. You'll see we have a bit of a break in the sleet and freezing rain of the past many hours. Still coming down, though, from Saluda, Edgefield to Aiken. Rain, which is great news from Aiken south towards Barnwell and Bamberg counties. That wintry mix in and around Mill and Sylvania sliding eastward. But there's still more to come. You'll see it now pushing in from the west into Wilkes, Lincoln, and McCormick County across the lake. And as we pull out just a bit, John, could you put that on the two-state view for me real quick? We'll show you there is more sleet and freezing rain to our west, a whole batch of it from the Alabama border sliding to the east. So we're not done with it yet, but it looks like the worst may be over, especially compared to what happened to us this morning. And then tomorrow morning, Brad was talking about the road conditions. Tomorrow morning, any remaining slush will freeze up with those low temperatures dipping to 28, 29 degrees by early tomorrow morning. So best thing to do, just stay home, keep the TV on. We'll keep you informed as far as a travel situation across the two-state. John Lynn now is going to take more on what's coming our way as far as temperatures and the timeline for this storm. John?
All right, currently as we take a look at temperatures across the CSRA, temperatures are pretty much below freezing in Augusta, below freezing in Columbia, also below freezing in Greenville, as well as Charlotte and Atlanta. Wind speeds, which again are going to be causing problems with all the trees and power lines. Once they have the ice accumulation on there, the wind speeds out of the northeast at around 15 miles per hour certainly help out in tearing some of those branches down. As far as what it feels like with the wind chill out there, it is really cold. Feels like 22 degrees in Augusta, feels like 20 in the Midlands, feels like 24 in Macon, and feels like 23 degrees currently in Atlanta. As far as the watch and warning situation, once again the entire viewing area is under that winter storm warning now until very early on Thursday morning, and the dark purple shaded areas around the cities of Washington, Crawfordville, Gibson, once again you guys are still under the ice storm warning, and that's now through Thursday morning at around 7 to around 11 a.m. How much more can we see as we head through the afternoon? Still a very good possibility that we'll see more freezing rain and sleet through 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but still dry around Screven, Jenkins, and Emmanuel County. That is certainly good news. Then some more good news. Some of that changes over to rain as we head towards 7 o'clock this evening around Burke County, Jenkins, Emmanuel, Johnson, Screven, Barnwell, and Allendale counties, but still the freezing rain and the sleet for our northern and central line counties in Richmond, Columbia, Edgefield, and Aiken counties. As we head throughout the evening for tonight, by midnight, once again look forward to sleet and the possibility for more light freezing rain around Columbia, Edgefield, Richmond, and Aiken, and then just spotty rain showers down to our south. Then things start to quiet down as we head towards early tomorrow morning at around 7 a.m. Just a light dusting of a light freezing mist and then snow for our northern and western line counties, and then it is all out of the viewing area as we head towards lunchtime. Look forward to just a few flurries across portions of Burke County. We'll try to squeeze in a little bit of sunshine late Thursday afternoon, just before sunset. Not going to do a whole lot, but once again going to aid and once again warming up the ground surface, warming up some of the trees and power lines so that that ice can melt off. We'll have more on the Viper and more on the tracking of this winter storm coming up in just a bit. Brad?
John Lynn, George Myers, we appreciate you all. Just by way of sheer numbers and sheer volume, consider this: more than 180 extra tons of sand and salt were trucked into Georgia just to get ready for this storm. But you know what? All that sand and all that salt can't keep our power on, can it? Upwards of 30,000 people right now just in our CSRA counties on the Georgia side of the Savannah in the dark right now. A lot of the roads are clear. A lot of our information is coming to you via Twitter, so keep those updates coming. You can go to @WJBF if you don't follow us already and try to include all of your information and, just as importantly, all of your photographs under the hashtag CSRA weather. We get those here. We love to show them on TV via Twitter or Facebook. Great ways to send us photographs. All right, back to those power outages. Those also started in the wee hours of the morning as soon as the ice started falling from the sky. News Channel 6's Mike Miller has that.
Well, I'm on Bel Air Road where this very large tree has completely snapped in half because of the ice. And as you can see over here to my right, the tree has fallen on this fence, damaging it significantly. Now, this is a sight that can be seen all across the Augusta area. As I was driving down Walton Way, there were low-hanging limbs, many of them ready to break at any moment. The ones that were already broken were hanging on power lines and sitting in the road. Some trees have completely blocked off roads, but crews are out to try to remove the trees and limbs. This crew had already removed a few objects from the road, but the Bobcat was having trouble getting back onto the trailer because of the ice. Traffic lights are also out throughout the area, so if you're out there driving, take it slow. And again, emergency management is recommending everybody to stay home today, so if you don't need to drive, then stay home. In Augusta, Mike Miller, WJBF News Channel 6.
All right, good information there from Mike. And a reminder, though, if you're wondering about the safety of our streets and if you're wondering if anybody is out there, I know sometimes you can feel so isolated when you're sitting there in your home, especially if power has been going off and on all day. And so it's just you, perhaps you and the children on this off day from school, and you're wondering what in the world is going on outside. Well, know this, that more than 500 National Guardsmen and National Guard women are patrolling the streets of Georgia right now. Those are extra troops that were brought in by Governor Nathan Deal. They're out there to keep the peace and to make sure that we get through this storm okay. You should also know if you have friends or relatives that for some reason are out and about on Georgia's highways, there are no less than 7 state parks open with appropriate signage, I'm sure, to direct those travelers to those state parks so that they can get some respite from this weather so that they're not slipping and sliding down the roads. I say that just by way of reassurance, Jenny, because so many times in these situations, so isolated.
That is so true, Brad. And I tell you where we won't feel isolated, though, and that is here at Television Park. When I came in today, and I know you saw the same thing when you came in, there are sleeping bags and overnight bags all over the place.
Yeah.
And little air mattresses and cots where people have found a place where they can sleep, because we know that we are here for the long haul. But you know what? We aren't the only ones. More than 2/3 of the scheduled flights from Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport have been canceled because of the ice storm. That's more than 1,600 flights canceled. Well, there's a problem of room, so guess what's happening? Delta employees are sleeping on the planes. The planes can't go everywhere, so that's where their people are sleeping, on the airplanes, on the runways at the airport. So people are doing what they have to do, the people who have to be at work. We're sheltering in place, we're doing what we have to do, and I don't know if anybody is around the Augusta National, but we do have some Augusta National pictures to show you. Right now, though, I believe we are going to take a we're going to go back to Augusta National, where Chris Kane has a look at Augusta National for those of you just joining us that you probably haven't seen before.
Take a good look behind me, because this is something that you rarely see. Magnolia Lane completely iced over. The famous sign off Washington Road that greets members looks more like a sign that you'd see at the North Pole. And the security guardhouse, today, nobody's even in there working. But truly, the magnificent sight here, Magnolia Lane, 61 large magnolia trees dripping with icicles. And it's hard to believe that 2 months from today, the 3rd round of the Masters will tee off. But today, Augusta National Golf Club is unplayable, covered in a sheet of ice. Reporting from Augusta National, I'm Chris Kane, WJBF News Channel 6.
All right, Chris, more coverage of Ice Storm 2014 right after this break. Stay with us, everybody.
Welcome back as we continue our coverage of Ice Storm 2014. Taking a look at our WJBF Live Viper 6. This gives us an estimate of how much has fallen on the ground across Georgia, Carolina, a combination of the freezing rain and sleet, and some rather impressive totals. You'll see up to 2 inches in McCormick, 1.5 inches in Lincolnton, 3 inches in some sections of Columbia County. Same story in Richmond, 2 in and around Aiken County. Same story in Barnwell, Burke County, 3 inches. Inch to 1.5 inches in Jefferson County, 3/4 in Emmanuel, 3 inches to 2 inches across Sylvania, Screven County. So everybody picking up some healthy sleet and freezing rain amounts. Not as much fun as the snow was a week and a half ago, but very impressive none the least. And this is pretty much what was predicted, anywhere between a 1/4 inch and a 3/4 inch of icing, then that sleet piled on top, and obviously driving very hazardous across the area. We're going to show you our current situation right now on Viper. The sleet all began around 3 o'clock this morning, along with some freezing rain, and is still coming down, though not quite as hard. And the coverage area is a little bit smaller than it was earlier. You'll see some breaks right now, that wintry mix in the metro area and south towards Waynesboro, Louisville, Wrightsville, and Swainsboro. Still some freezing rain, sleet, Saluda, Edgefield, down to Aiken, Barnwell, Bamberg counties. This is all sliding eastward. And some more coming our way. You'll see Wilkes, Lincoln, and McCormick also experiencing some wintry mix. Zoom into the metro area, relatively quiet right now, but cold and dreary all across the CSRA. And a whole batch of some wintry mix continues across northern Georgia. This is also sliding east and northeast. We're going to pick up a little bit of this as well as we head into the next few hours or so. Snow continues. Any friends in the upstate, northeastern Georgia, North Carolina, plenty of snow there as this storm system rolls up the coast. It'll bring very heavy snowfall to the mid-Atlantic states. By tomorrow, we're looking forward to mainly a possible rain-snow mix early Thursday morning before all ending, and actually some sunshine breaking out as we head towards tomorrow afternoon. John Lynn has more on the current temps and the track of the storm. John?
Thanks, George. All the current temperatures that we're going to show you across Georgia and South Carolina that are at or below freezing are now we'll continue to see the sleet and the freezing rain, and temperatures above the freezing mark, seeing nothing more than just some light rainfall. It is below freezing in the city of Atlanta. We're right at the freezing mark here in the Garden City, Columbia, currently at 30 degrees. Greenville, Charlotte, all at 25, but warmer, and just seeing a little bit of light to moderate rainfall currently in Columbus, Georgia, as well as Macon, Savannah at 36, and Albany checks in at 39. As far as current temperatures a little closer to home, it is very cold for those of you in McCormick, Edgefield, even in Saluda. Current temps around the upper 20s, also upper 20s currently in Thompson. Right at the freezing mark in Evans, as well as Augusta, just below it currently in Aiken, South Carolina, Waynesboro, Barnwell, current temps at around 34 degrees. As far as the sleet and freezing rain accumulation that we've seen over the last 24 hours, once again, we have seen pretty much enough of it when you add up the sleet totals and the freezing rain accumulation, picking up anywhere from 2 to 3 inches. Those of you across Warren County, almost 3/4 of an inch, Lincoln County, 1.5 inches of ice accumulation, and across portions of Edgefield, anywhere from 1.5 inches to almost 3 full inches of ice accumulation. So once again, all of northern Georgia and middle Georgia under some type of winter storm watch or warning, and even an ice storm warning. The counties highlighted in the light pink is that winter storm warning in effect now until Thursday morning around 7 a.m. and the dark purple shading indicating the ice storm warning in effect for middle Georgia and our western and southern line counties across the CSRA. That will continue now until very early tomorrow morning at around 7 a.m. Brad?
All right, John, thanks a lot. Let me read you something that just came into my email from the Richmond County folks in charge of our road conditions and emergency management. This isn't going to make for the most visual presentation, but it'll give you some information that might be helpful if you're concerned about the roads in your neck of the woods. Eve Street at Walton Way. There's a tree in the road there. A lot of trees down Walton Way, aren't there? Chief Senior Reporter George Askela did a story on the urban forest that exists there in the hill, and many parts of that forest are coming down. Look at the information from Emergency Management Richmond County now. Traffic lights out at Windsor Spring at Richmond Hill, also Windsor Spring Road at Bobby Jones. Peach Orchard Road at Rozier, there's a tree down. Skinner Mill, tree down right in front of the Dorchester subdivision. Baker Avenue at McDowell, tree falling in that area. Clark Road at Hepzibah McBean Road, tree down on power lines. This is another trouble spot. Clark Road at Highway 56, a tree across the road. Julia Avenue has a tree on the power lines, and there's a tree across the road at Hurd Avenue, Wheeler and Auburn and Boy Scout, those all problem areas. So no matter where you go, north, south, east, or west in the CSRA, you are seeing those traffic problems. We are encouraging you to continue to keep us up to date with problems or concerns that you're having by going to our Facebook page. We did get a Facebook message from Arthur Garner about a minute ago. He asked if Bobby Jones or Washington Road was shut down. Well, Arthur, parts of Bobby Jones are shut down right now. In fact, Bobby Jones is closed all the way to the county line in one section of it. Don't go on Bobby Jones right now if you can help it. Also, Washington Road has seen its share of problems. I can't tell you if parts of Washington are closed at this moment, but I can tell you that a portion of Bobby Jones is. And Debbie Elaine writes, calories don't count on ice days. Just saying. Debbie, there is some truth to what you say, but don't overdo it, all right? Because reality is going to hit us. You saw George and John's forecast. There's sunshine before the week is over, so we're all going to have to go back and show our post-ice storm bodies to the world as soon as we're released from our houses. Jenny.
Very nice as soon as we're released, right? Indeed, Brad.